Jovan, Liz, good morning. Mallory, Murphy, how's everybody doing?
Good. How are you, Eric?
Good.
Hey Murphy, is this a new Zoom version?
Laurie, I muted you because you've got your headphones plugged in, so when you're moving them, we can hear it. I'll unmute you in a second. Go ahead. Is it what?
Is this a new version?
Maybe yours didn't update. Maybe you got an update or something.
I don't know. I tried to log in on my my laptop because I used that yesterday and it seemed to work okay, but it wasn't loading. It kept like saying it was launching and it wouldn't launch. So now I'm back on the tablet, but then I can only see like, you know, a couple people at a time. I have to scroll over to see Liz and Eric.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It's all good. Oh. Oh, Liz, I like your little mug, your little snowman.
Jovan, you been getting haircuts or no?
I have not. Like, that's why I have the on right now. I'm looking horrible right now.
Got the head on.
Yeah, it's over.
We both are, man.
My hair is legitimately two different colors. Like, look at my roots and look at my. And well, now everybody knows I'm not a natural blonde.
I had gotten my hair cut like the day, it was literally the last day that we were at Stark Garden. So I had a haircut appointment. So I did that. But now, like, I usually get my hair cut every 6 weeks and I really need it cut every 6 weeks. And it's next week. And yeah.
Nope. Don't do it.
No, I'm not. No, I can't. But I've seen, have you seen people doing their own hair?
Yeah.
All these videos? Yeah. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. I'll leave that.
Liz, you're on mute, Liz.
I love the video of the little old man doing his wife's hair. So
oh, I haven't seen that. That is cute.
My sister-in-law, my brother has always cut and colored my sister-in-law's hair for her. So she's like, we're fine.
Oh my. That's awesome.
I'm like, I got to get him to come cut my hair.
I'm going to turn this so I don't have any weird stuff.
All right.
So, like I told everybody yesterday, what I'll probably do is just like introduce everybody and then just go through. And Mallory and Eric, are you guys, you know, you'll talk like together. I mean, you can both just, when it's your turn, you know, I'll probably start with you. And so then you guys can just jump in when each other's talking.
Okay.
And kind of explain what's going on. So, do we have people joining, Murphy?
Yep, we've got 2 people. One of them's Jorge. Hi, Jorge. Good morning, Jorge. And then I'll keep an eye on the chat or any of the questions. And so I'll let you guys know if there's, you know, a question coming through. Don't feel like you guys need to keep an eye on them. I'll just read them to you guys and let you know as they come up.
Okay. Okay. That sounds good. I was just being funny yesterday on my Facebook, you know, when Murphy, you shared the
I saw your post.
The link. Yeah, and I just said, you know, and most of my Facebook, I mean, I do have some work friends on there, but it's a lot of personal friends and people that live all over the place, and they don't necessarily know what we're doing with the Stark Garden team. So I posted a thing and I just said, hey, I kind of have a talk show now. And like legitimately people are like commenting and saying, oh, congratulations. Yeah, it's like, you go. And I'm like, okay, I was just joking. I put a little jokey face on there, but I don't think people were looking.
Yeah.
Should we wait a minute or should we just go ahead and start?
I might wait a minute, just it's right 10 on the dot, so maybe give people a second to hop in.
Okay. Okay. Looking at Jorge's comment.
What's up, Jorge? I can't drink too much of that stuff, Jorge. It's too much caffeine.
Have you guys
Super
been
strong.
seeing, have you seen this like whipped coffee thing that's been going around?
The pump thing. I do that. Yeah.
I made it, and I don't drink that much coffee these days, and I loved it, and I drink it. It's like you literally just stir like instant coffee and sugar and water, and it gets like thick. It almost looks like peanut butter. Oh, you haven't seen? Yeah, it looks like peanut butter. Like it's that thick, and it's like Eris said it's like a Greek frappuccino too, and so then I put it on top of like almond milk. And it's been like something that's been on Instagram lately, like people are doing.
Oh,
it's so good though that like my heart was like pumping out of my chest all day because I had so much caffeine.
Yeah, I've been limiting myself to 2 cups of coffee. Otherwise, I would just keep going back.
No.
It's just.
Yeah, you do it with like, you can start with like a hand whisk, but if you do it that way, you have to do it for like 8 minutes. But like if you do it with like a beater or like something faster.
There's a pump thing that I got from Italy like 10 years ago, and I use it to just froth up regular milk. And if you heat the milk up, it's almost like going to Starbucks and getting a frappe.
Yeah, I did this with like I did it with like just cold almond milk and ice, and then you put it on top. It seriously looks like peanut butter. It's so thick.
That's crazy.
Oh my God.
That is crazy.
That's I mean, I had time, so I had 8 minutes. So just
I think, we all have time for a lot of things we never had time for before.
Right? I'm making my own jewelry now. That's real. I just got more supplies. I'm bored, guys.
I want to see some of that.
Oh, I'll show you. I'll send you some pictures. I'll take requests. Keeps me busy.
Yep.
All right.
We're all trying to be innovative.
Right. We could probably start going.
We should? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I will officially launch this morning. So we are here in our 3rd week of doing the juice online, which is, again, not the way we thought we were going to launch, but this works. So I'm Laurie with Stark Garden, and Murphy is here with Stark Garden as well. And then we have some great panelists this morning. So I am looking, just so everybody knows my viewpoint. I can only see 4 squares at a time of the panelists. So I'm looking at it on a tablet. So I'll introduce you in the order that I see you. So it's Mallory Malloy from Mindset Meals. We've got Jovan Naves from Barrel Clothing. We've got Liz Hilton from Knit It Swaddelini. And then Eric Freeman is partners with Mallory in Mindset Meals. So the idea this morning, and what we've been doing actually for the last 3 weeks, is focusing on what are businesses and entrepreneurs doing right now. The original, I think the original plan for the juice was to talk about a lot of different topics that entrepreneurs think about and talk about, and we were going to do sort of a fireside chat kind of thing once a month. But right now, I think it's more relevant to talk about what is currently happening. So I think the way we'll approach this is we'll start out with each one of you kind of telling a little bit about what your business is, and then sort of what it's become now in the last month. And we do want to focus a little bit too on maybe some of the resources that you have been accessing or are going to access right now to get you through this time and, you know, kind of help you get through to the other side.
Hey,
So I don't mean
I'm
that to
gonna-
sound really grim, but
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm gonna pop in for 1 second. Sorry. So I
Okay.
don't know if any of you guys have noticed, but lately Zoom has had some issues with some people spamming. We do have one person who has gotten in. They typically go through the Q&A. I will monitor that. If anything comes up, we can address it as it comes up. But I'll keep an eye on removing people. Hasn't been a problem in the morning ones in the past, but we do have someone who got in. So I will be
Okay.
monitoring that.
And-
If we see something, we'll take care of it.
okay. And are we going to see comments, do you think?
So they shouldn't be able to pop up in the comments. If they are in the comments, it's only viewable by the panelists at this time. That's the way that we have it set up. But they may come through the Q&A, and it does look like, however this person's settings are, they're not letting me boot them, but just heads up.
Okay. All right. Well,
Diana.
hopefully we won't have to deal with that. But yeah, that's an unfortunate thing that's been happening. So
Yeah, if it gets really bad, we might have to, we'll address it as it comes, but obviously
Okay.
right now they're in the Q&A. I'll dismiss them as quickly as possible, but these are not people that we know. Unfortunately, it's something that's been
Okay.
happening.
Yep.
Murphy's playing security, huh?
I have been
Yeah.
playing, I've been playing bouncer in all of these. We had one where we probably had like 30 like spam. So we're working on it. And I know that Zoom is too, if we find a better platform to monitor this. Yeah, somebody, oh, nope. No, that one's Laura. Okay, if you're Laurie's friend, we
It's
won't
not
get rid of
Kelly.
you. I can see who it is. But they used to have like funny usernames so you would know who it is, but they've gotten smarter and now they have usernames that you don't realize they're bots. So
Gotcha.
sorry to interrupt.
Gotcha.
We'll keep
All
going,
right.
but I just wanted to
No,
address
no,
it
you're
at the
good.
top.
No,
Yeah.
nope, that's good. So thanks for telling us, Murphy.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's get back to business, and I'm going to start with Mallory and Eric. Just tell us a little bit about you and what you're doing, what you were doing, and what you're doing now.
So we're Mindset Meals, and we assist individuals and corporations who want their members to get into a healthier lifestyle and build a positive mindset by delivering healthy, ready-to-eat meals directly to them. And we've pivoted a lot since the beginning of this towards corporations. Instead of providing meals solely to individuals, we pivoted to corporations. And obviously with what's going on, it's obviously put a damper in our business. So we've been getting creative just like everyone else, trying to figure out ways to still provide meals, still provide little positive affirmations to people. Mallory, do you want to?
Yesterday, we had the opportunity to cook for frontline workers. So we halted our normal production for the week so we could do that. So we took donations, and then we partnered up with local farms and a local butchery. We were able to give meals to Spectrum ER nurses.
Oh, that's really cool. Where are you guys cooking right now? What kitchen are you using?
Prep Space in Wyoming.
Okay. So Prep Space is still, and the commercial kitchens, I believe, are still open for use. Is that correct?
Yes, they are.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Talk a little bit more about the fact that I think, you guys, you've been ramping up for the last couple of years. And we talked yesterday about how you pivoted a little bit to, you were starting to pivot actually towards more corporate contracts and maybe serving a corporate clientele as opposed to individuals. And right now you kind of realize that maybe that individual market is something you don't want to sway too far away from.
Yeah, we were actually thinking about just phasing out individuals completely and only dealing with big small businesses and corporations. But through all this, and people aren't at work, so they're not at their corporations, all we've been solely relying on is individuals. So that just let us know, like, we will never get rid of the individuals or have that talk again.
Yeah, we
Right.
definitely don't want to put all of our eggs in one basket. So
Yeah. And I mean, I do think that when things start to get back to normal, whatever that is, it's going to be a new normal. So I think that maybe that's one of the things we can all talk about after you guys each have a chance to talk is how, what do we think that new normal is potentially going to look like? So Jovan, tell us what you've been up to.
So I'm Jovan from Bear All Clothing. And so our predominant thing that we've been doing over the past couple of years is screen printing for people. And we kind of put the clothing line on like the back burner just because the screen printing studio kind of took off. And so when this started to happen, obviously all events got shut down, schools got shut down. So all of our primary customers really like pushed their events either back or they canceled them, which means that we don't have any t-shirts to print for anybody. So a way for us to get creative, because we can kind of still get t-shirts in, not locally, but we can still order them in from places like Chicago and stuff like that. So we've been just back on to just doing Bear All again. And so just giving people, because people still want to shop. So just giving people like new Bear All designs, stuff like that, but also giving the students that we have in the studio creative freedom to do whatever they want to do in the studio. So if they want to pop in and create their own shirts and do whatever, we have so many extra shirts in the studio. It's like, just go for it. Like, do whatever you guys want to do at this point and just get creative.
Yeah, what's happening with UFO?
So, I mean, UFO, with it being a storefront idea, we were in talks with a lot of different like corporations and companies like Amplify and DGRI and everything like that to kind of get that going and get that started up. But I mean, with this happening and you can't really go into a storefront, that kind of gets pushed back, and then it puts the idea out there of us actually taking that online as well and making sure that people have that interaction online, because it's something that's going to be hugely important. But I think UFO would be great when it finally does launch because of this, because a lot of people are supporting local, and that's what we are based on, is a ton of local companies and a ton of local businesses. So I think UFO would be in a perfect position right when this is up.
Right. Because you were actually starting to think about and look at locations, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
So picking out locations, seeing where we were going to be, all of those things. So a ton of different meetings got like canceled or pushed back and everything like that. So, I mean, the launch is obviously going to get pushed back and stuff like that too. Right.
So Liz,
what
are you up to?
Well, my business, Knit it straddles both service and products. So I always keep a couple clients with Knit and things have slowed down on that front, but ultimately people still want 3D knit solutions. However, on the product end of things, just everything slowed down on big e-commerce retail sites. So QVC, HSN, Bye Bye Baby, like I'm not expecting to see a lot of sales there. Sales on my website have been lower. However, I'm in a much better position than many other entrepreneurs of a product because I manufacture it myself. So, I'm a very small, I'm in like a nano size business right now. But in the past month, I've actually been able to increase sales on my website by engaging with sleep consultants. So it's different than how I imagined growing my business in 2020. I had imagined doing a lot of in-store demos at Bye Bye Babies because my product-based business is a baby product. It's a swaddle. So I just got my first PO a few months ago. It just launched February 24th. So just a couple weeks before all of this happened. And so my plan to grow sales online was to do in-store demos. And of course, all of that got canceled. all the baby shows got canceled, so there was no hope in growing that way. I was also planning on doing a lot of engagement with boutiques and doulas, but then, but you know, doulas who can also be sleep consultants, they are not allowed anymore to go to the hospital to service their clients. Boutiques are all shut down. So really the only thing I have left to do is engage with sleep consultants and doulas online. So I've been doing that, and I've actually made a lot of really good relationships just in the past week, and I have seen that come back and in an increase in following, increase in sales, and I've been doing a few creative things, like I made using the same yarn I used to make my swaddles and the same machine, I've made masks. So now if you buy a swaddle on my site, you get a free mask to go with that. And I've also done a thing where if you have bought my product in the past, you can email me with the subject heading give, and if you need one and maybe you can't buy it because, you know, finances are tight right now, you can just give me your address, and then I can pair people who aren't using their product anymore with them, and I can send them a shipping label so they can, so it's like, you know, nothing's going to waste, and it's keeping people connected, and also, yeah, if someone can't afford my product, they can still have a way of getting it.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something you will continue after this,
Yes.
right?
Yes, yeah. I will. Yeah, I think it's a really great way to close the loop. And, you know, another reason I'm optimistic about the future is, you know, I have a baby company. I have a baby product, and in 9 months we're going to have a baby boom. It's going to be the quarantine boom. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I think if I just, you know, keep engaging with moms on Instagram and sleep consultants, I think people will start to talk to each other, and I can grow organically.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Eric and Mallory, how are you keeping engaged with clients? Or how are you marketing new clients right now?
We're just trying to get creative on different videos to make on social media. So basically what we've done is asked for donations for us to provide meals for the front lines, to have some type of community, so where they feel, you know, that they're actually, that we care for them, you know what I mean? So we've been doing different things on social media. Our videos usually consist of like mindset and food facts, and we just pivoted, we just switched it up a little bit, and we're still coming up with ideas.
But I mean, are you, do you feel like, or do you see that you're, in addition to doing sort of, you know, the donation type stuff, are you actively looking right now to engage with new clients?
As far as corporations or individuals?
Or individuals. I mean, if corporations, obviously right now, that's probably not something that you're able to do, but how do you keep engaged with individuals to let people know about Mindset Meals?
Same thing. Yep, just marketing, just online with the social media, our newsletters, just telling people, just keeping them informed that we're still here to help. At some point, I believe those sales will start going back up because people are going to get sick of cooking here again pretty soon. I mean, a lot of people had a lot more time to cook, and we weren't really marketing too much with the individual portion of it, but now we're getting back to it again.
Right. Jovan, what about you with marketing and social media? How are you keeping engaged?
Basically the same as them. Like we're doing new stuff like email marketing, and stuff like that we just never done because we've never had time to like really set it up. And so all of this time on our hands, we kind of get to like target like our real customer markets, especially for like the clothing line and stuff like that. And then just being like creative. So telling like the students to go out and make these TikToks or whatever dances and stuff like that, just to show that we still have our morale high and stuff like that. So that's really what we're doing, is trying to keep people's morale high and still keep an interest in the product. But I mean, if people are still calling and emailing us about doing screen printing orders, which is great. It's just at a minimal right now. So we're still keeping that basis, and then just keeping up with customers. So reaching out, seeing how they're doing, seeing stuff like that.
So I'm going to shift gears a little bit. I know one of the other things that we wanted to talk about this morning was all the different resources and relief efforts that are going on for small businesses, whether that's locally or on a national level. And I know that some of you have applied for some of those things, and I know that the process has been really interesting. I think it's changing daily. So maybe you could share with us some of the things that you've done to kind of help yourselves, and what those processes have been like, and what resources have you tried to access right now. So Mallory and Eric, what have you guys done?
We filled out the disaster relief fund. And the main thing that I got from that was to really know your numbers. So know where you stood before all of this started happening, and know the decline of your business, and how it's going to trend for the next couple of months, and how it's really affecting you.
Which one is that? Is that the one that's through the right place?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So for anybody that's watching that doesn't know, the right place, and I'm not going to remember who all the other partners are, launched a fund. It's a grant. It's a grant for small business, and I think it's a $10,000 grant across the board for anybody that applies. But like you're saying, they were asking for pretty specific information moving into that, and I think the time frame is done for applications for that. But oh, okay, thanks, Jamil. I see his comment. It's an MEDC grant through the right place. Yes. Do you have any idea, has anybody given you any indication of when those decisions are going to be made, or how you'll find out if you've gotten some funding?
It's probably going to go through email, but we haven't heard anything quite yet.
Okay. All right. And that's the only that's the only one that you've applied for?
We've been doing a lot of research because I know a lot of them are loans, and right now we are not trying to take out a loan. So we're doing research and reading through them thoroughly before we apply.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other resources. I don't know if they're considered loans or anything like that, but the Michigan Good Food Fund for food businesses, they've been putting a lot of resources out. Good for Michigan, they've been putting a lot of resources out. Obviously the SBDC, I've been watching what they have been putting out as well. So, I mean, the entrepreneur ecosystem, you guys have been helping out a lot. So all you have to do is do your due diligence and actually read and dive deep into it.
Yeah, I mean, I know that on our StartGuard website, we do have a list of all the different types of resources. I think most of the entrepreneurial support organizations, at least in our Grand Rapids community, have been putting together some pretty comprehensive lists and keeping them really up to date on not only those programs, not only the programs, but some of the other efforts that are going on in the community. So that's great, and I know that they're being updated almost daily. So it is I think up to most entrepreneurs to really look for things. Don't sit back and just wait to hear about stuff. Go out and look, because there are a lot of organizations trying to make a lot of great efforts to help. So Jovan, what have you looked into?
So I looked into the same one that they have, and I agree that it's all about your numbers and really knowing where you are and where you're going, especially if you, like, for businesses like me that's had 3 to 4 years of experience of keeping track of their numbers. stuff like that. But also like the unemployment, would it being expanded to self-employed and contractors and stuff like that. So I've looked into that, which was very confusing and very like slow and very like stuff like that. So I did look into that, and like following up on that is like a headache in itself. But I always go into it thinking like, I mean, the worst they can say is no at this point.
Right.
And so I'm gonna shoot my shot at everything at this point. And then, I mean, you got the 100 ideas to come back going on right now too. So those type of things are what I'm really looking into. I'm not looking into like the loans and stuff like that, because we don't want to take out those.
Right.
But everything else that's a grant and things like that, we've really been trying to focus on.
Yeah. Yeah, so this probably is a good time to talk about Start Garden 100 Comeback Fund. We, as many of you know, many of you've all participated in it. Our Start Garden 100 initiative for this year, we've reallocated that fund. So instead of asking people to submit business ideas, brand new business ideas, we realized pretty quickly into this that that this was real, you know, right now, a lot of our entrepreneurs that we've been working with and that are, you know, starting out in the community are hurting. And why, you know, we don't want to discourage people from coming up with new ideas. We wanted to make an immediate impact on the entrepreneurs that that are out there right now. So we've reallocated that fund. We launched on Tuesday, and you have until Saturday at noon to go to the 100.startgarden.com website. We're using the same platform, so it's a 100-second video, and we want you to tell us what are your current needs right now. And we're really looking more at providing resources and help for the entrepreneurs themselves, not necessarily the business, not you know, we don't want people really asking for money to keep their payroll, you know, keep people on the payroll. It's really about you. Like, what can we do to keep you going, keep you able to keep working and ready to come out swinging when we start to see more business as usual. So I encourage all of you guys to apply for that, and then, you know, tell people about it. So we're trying to promote that right now, and I think we anticipate getting our funds out really quick. I know that we won't be able to accommodate everybody that that has requested, but we're going to do the best we can to meet the most critical needs and try to help as many people as possible. So, Liz, I didn't ask you. Have you looked into any resources, or what's your situation?
I attended a Zoom webinar from the Michigan Women's Foundation on the SBA disaster relief. It's a loan, however, but there's no penalty for paying it off early. First payment isn't due for 11 months. And basically, I mean, everyone is eligible. You just have to prove injury. And I think it's already been said, you know, you have to know your standing. Like I know that between Q1 and Q4 2019, I grew 305%, and now I've not grown at all. So I probably could prove some injury, but because sales for me just go down naturally January, February after the holidays, I don't know if that would be a conflict. I have not applied. I'm still doing my own research, but I think if anyone who's in a restaurant type situation should definitely apply. I think this is built for people in that business, and any type of business that can prove serious injury. The loans can go up to, I think, $20,000.
Yeah. I'm reading a question.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Murphy. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, we have two questions, and we can handle one of them pretty quickly, I think. Tim just wanted clarification. You've all said, you know, you really need to know your numbers when you go in, and do you just mean typical financial statements? And just curious if you do that yourself or if that's something that you outsource, and then we'll do the second question after that.
Okay.
So that's for anyone. Just, you know, we've talked about you got to know your numbers. What do you mean by that?
Profit and loss statement and your 2019 taxes.
Awesome. Awesome. And then Tim said, what will you do differently in the future to make your business more resilient to changes? We, of course, can't predict things like this, but learning for the swings of the ups and downs in the economy.
Can I say something on this too? Sorry.
Yeah.
I very much believe that this is a time for small businesses to really shine, because if you are a solo entrepreneur or you have a small team, you're more agile. And so your competitors are too big. Like big companies cannot pivot right now. So if your competitor is a lot bigger than you, that is a huge disadvantage for them and a big advantage for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Anybody else?
Murph, can you read that last question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's, what will you do differently in the future to make your business more resilient to these changes? Obviously, we don't know if we're going to have another pandemic like this, but learning, you know, the swings and ups and downs in the economy.
I think we're learning that right now, basically. Everyone's learning right now. This is a learning experience for absolutely everyone. I mean, even if you're not in business, just in life in general, everyone's learning right now. So.
Yeah, I mean, I have talked to a lot of different people who have said that, you know, obviously this is not a position that any of us wanted to be in. I mean, we couldn't predict it, and then here we are. So what do? You can either crawl up in a hole and cry about it, or you can try to make the most of it. And I think that I've heard so many people say that they're using this as an opportunity to maybe do things in their business that they haven't had time to do, because you all know, as small business owners, and you really have so many different roles. You're in the business, you're running the business, you are the business, and you can't do it all. And right now, when you've been given some time to just maybe slow down a little bit and step back, it does give you an opportunity to look at your business in a different way. And whether that's just getting some of your business practices in place. I talked to a couple of people last week on the juice. They were saying that they hadn't had time to really get a lot of their business practices, administration, general organization. And now they're using this time. And I do think that, like Liz said, being able to maybe pivot or be innovative is something that every small business should think about, because your market can change, and you should be looking at different ways to grow your business in different sectors. So I think that's this is a time to do that if you want to take this time to look towards something positive.
Agreed. It's interesting to see how creative people are around us as well. Like Malloy, like how he's just been killing the game right now. That's phenomenal to see. And Daddy's Dough, how they're doing little I think they're doing little cookie packages that they bring to you. So I think it's just phenomenal to see how creative people have gotten around us. And I think we may be stealing that from you, Mr. Daddy Dough, with the food aspect of it. So,
Murphy, are there any other questions?
Nope, not at the moment.
That you've got? Okay, because I actually wanted to talk about something else too. So, I think we don't know when things start to go back to normal. I think we are going to see a new normal. How do you envision yourself ramping back up? I don't think it's going to be all of a sudden the light switch goes on and everything is back to the way it was before. So I think it's, we don't know. I mean, maybe certain businesses will open up first. Maybe, people will still continue to work at home more. I don't know what that's going to look like. I think restaurants are going to look different. I think people are going to avoid crowded situations for a while. So, that affects all kinds of things. Like Liz, what do you think about like all this? You relied a lot on going to shows and big, in big convention centers and things like that. What if
Yeah,
Go ahead.
for like for the in-person sales, I've always been bad about trying to get a presence on social media, so I'm definitely putting more energy into that instead of the in-person baby shows. But I think there's another piece of it, which is just textile based. I create a textile product, and I think now it's going to become more important to push antimicrobial yarns, not just in my product business, but also in my service business um, and my job as also someone who brings 3D knit component solutions to the office furniture industry. I think that is the whole design of indoor offices are going to change. And I even saw this trending in the past year. The projects I've been developing in the office furniture sector have been more like private office pods, so that are kind of more isolating, like kind of think cubicle but more fun. And I think the open office space that has been a trend for the past 20 years is going to die, and we're going to see a resurgence of more individual working spaces. So I think I think my knitting business, knitting for that need, is going to just shift to doing maybe less office furniture and more privacy screens and stuff like that. And I think that as far as knit office seating goes and knit baby swaddles go, people may not have been willing to pay a premium for something that is antimicrobial, but I think now they will.
Yeah. Interesting. Mallory and Eric, what do you think about food trends?
Well, we started a no contact for our delivery, and we never had that as an option, so we'll probably keep that as an option for customers. I feel like a lot of people will pick that, where we'll just leave it at the door, send you a text, let you know that your food's outside, so we're not dealing with each other in such close quarters.
Interesting. Jovan, what do you think?
I mean, for us, it's a lot of like no contact, because I'm dropping off boxes all the time. Anyway, so I'm kind of just dropping them like at a front desk or somewhere. Like what I really implementing is like trainings right now with students in like the lean manufacturing in our studio, so that when we get back to this, because a lot of our jobs got pushed from May to like October, and with the school year going on, then that's usually our busy season. It would be great to like just be able to jump back into it and really like get it very fluent with all of the workers and all of that stuff. So I kind of have a positive look on this, where we can just build out training courses and get people onboarded faster than we've been able to do, because I have to do the training, I have to do the emailing, I have to do the meetings, I have to do all of those things. So it's one of those kind of like a refresher that like we can focus on some of the things that we haven't been able to focus on.
Yeah, I mean, with event type stuff, that you obviously accommodate a lot of different kinds of events, whether it's school or corporate or whatever. Are you seeing people now? I mean, they're canceling things, and I think you said people are either canceling or in some cases postponing or pushing things out to later in the year. Mm-hmm. Are you even seeing anybody planning new events?
I haven't seen the new events plan yet. Just because I don't think people know how long this is actually going to last.
Right.
So right when like this lifts and stuff like that, that's when I expect new events to pop up. But right now, all of the rescheduled type events is stuff that we're like really, really focused on.
Right.
And stuff like that. So I haven't seen a bunch of like new events pop up, but I expect it to happen sooner or later.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really interesting. I know last week, or actually the week before, we had Laura Vaughn, who is the founder of Blackbird RSVP, and she is an events platform, and it's more of an event planning thing, and naturally people were canceling. Naturally, people were maybe pushing things out. And so her interesting pivot is that she started thinking that instead of just, having people cancel, that maybe what she could do as a service is start providing that sort of that rescheduling service. So as people are pushing events out later in the year, they've got to re-coordinate everything. So she is going to be offering help to help people replan their event. I know a couple people who have had to postpone their weddings, but then they can't, looking out into, the fall or whatever, they don't have a venue. The venue that they wanted is already booked. So, it's either we start all over and plan a whole new event, or we push it out even further until we can rebook. So I was just curious because I know that, the events-based business is hit pretty hard right now, obviously. I mean, every business is, but I think it's really interesting to see how people are looking at opportunities. I know that, Stark Garden obviously is always promoting entrepreneurship. We're always promoting new ideas. And I think that our team, we're hoping obviously for next year, we're gonna run with the Stark Garden 100 again. And I think it'll be really interesting to see if, as a result of what's going on in the world right now, people are thinking of, new ideas related to this crisis. And, are there problems that people are facing right now that we didn't realize were going to be issues, but somebody can come up with some innovative way to solve them. So I think this will be a time of creativity and innovation for people if you really, if you want to take advantage of that. So I think this could, we're worried about this being, a time that is crushing for entrepreneurs, which it is for current entrepreneurs, but this also could be a really good time to encourage people to think about entrepreneurship and to start their own business.
Yeah, I'll just be careful with people doing that. Don't try to take advantage of the situation because that's distasteful and
yeah.
Another thing too is like aside from the business aspect of things, we're gonna have to pivot in our own lives. I grew up in a Hispanic household. We're always kissing and hugging, and Laura, I'm a hugger, so I hug everyone. and now people are gonna be like, yo, back up.
Yeah,
6 feet.
So, yeah.
6 feet. No more. Yeah, no more shaking hands.
Yeah.
I mean, that's and it is really interesting. I think when I moved to West Michigan, which is a long time ago now, but I mean, I grew up on the East Coast, and Liz, you know this. In the work environment, it wasn't, people didn't really hug, it was more the handshake. It was, not that I'm saying that it's not professional, but I find that especially in West Michigan, and in Grand Rapids, everybody hugs, it is. And that's just gonna be a practice that we're gonna have to.
Well, actually, Laurie, that's another business that's going to die. So in big cities, it's very common that people don't hug. But we all know that the human needs 8 hugs per day. And there are actually hug clubs in big cities. So that business is going to die. So people actually pay to get in and they get hugged professionally. They're called cuddle clubs.
I had no idea.
This is a
I did not know that
business.
existed.
Eric, that could have been your avenue. You missed
Well, when
out.
she started off the conversation with everyone knows. I'm like, I didn't know that.
No, I was like, no, really did not know that. So, yeah, that is, it is, yeah. But you're right, Eric. I mean, I know that, obviously, things like price gouging and we see that right now. I think there'll always be an element of society that will adversely take advantage of situations, and that's unfortunate. So yeah, I'm not suggesting that people come up with
oh no, I know you weren't.
Yeah, no, but you're right. I mean, there are people that are being innovative, but in a way that's hurtful rather than helpful. Yeah,
we
that's
at Mindset, we had multiple conversations as to like how not to use scare tactics as to boost sales.
Right.
And
right.
we didn't want to do that at all. So
Yeah, that is a great point. I just want to say something on that too, because in the baby product business, especially infant inclined sleeping products, they use fear mongering all the time. Like, if you don't use this product, your baby will die. And so ever since day one, I've been very careful not to do that. And I think people like that, because when I go to baby shows, I meet moms who have had the most unimaginable things like that happen to them, and they don't want to be told like, oh, it wouldn't have happened if they bought some product, you know.
yeah.
So I totally agree
Right.
with that.
Right. But I mean, you know, I think like last week we were talking on the juice to Chris Marsman, who is starting the Urban Geeks farm. No, I'm screwing up the name. Anyway, he grows microgreens. And
Green
his
Geeks?
business.
Is it Green Geeks?
Thank you. Yeah.
Mhm.
Garden Geeks.
Garden
That's
Geeks.
it. Garden Geeks Urban Farm. So, you know, he had just really started out his business recently, you know, in the last like 6 months or so. And it was, you know, really starting to pick up. He was servicing restaurants to a certain degree, but then the being in local stores was really something that was starting to take hold, and he was getting a lot of traction. And then he almost felt guilty because now in the last month, his business is just surging. And that's because people are starting to think about, you know, microgreens and being, you know, such great for your immune system, eating healthy. And so, you know, there are businesses that will flourish at this time, and that's okay too. I mean, it's not, you know, he, like I said, he felt guilty that, you know, that other people were hurting, and it was a time when his business was really taking off. So, I think, you know, I think Jorge was talking to Javier from Supermercado Mexico, and, you know, the grocery business is obviously flourishing. You know, clearly there's many examples of businesses who are doing well during this time, and that's okay too. That goes with the territory, I guess. So, yep. Any other questions?
We don't have any right now, but yeah, if anybody that's watching right now wants to send us any questions, we can get those in.
Please shoot them out. We have all day.
I
Else to do.
have jewelry to make.
I mean,
have to go to work.
I know. I was saying yesterday we had our Stark Garden team was having a Zoom call, and afterwards I was going to go outside and take a nice long walk, and I have been realizing now that I've been home for like a month, how much walking I do during just a normal day at work, between walking back and forth to my car, walking back and forth within our Stark Garden space, you know, going out to meetings and stuff. It's really, you know, it's really incredible to think now, you know, sitting home, I didn't even realize how much exercise I was getting just by being at work. So it's really important right now to make sure we're you know, taking some time out for ourselves. So, I mean, that's actually another point. There's been a lot of stuff on the news lately about, you know, it's okay right now for us to step back and not always be focused on our business and working and feeling like I'm home, but I still have to keep working. So have any of you in your, you know, has your philosophy been that it's okay to take a minute to chill out and just, you know, spend time with your family and just, you know, kind of take a mental breather?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously we'd like to discuss mindset. Yeah, we preach that. So, but I feel like Laurie, we talked about this yesterday. It's like you're so deep in the grind that even if your business is talking about mindset, you kind of lose track of it. So I felt disconnected I don't know, right before this epidemic happened, I was super disconnected, and I wasn't meditating as much. And now that this I'm trying to make a positive out of a terrible situation. So like I've started to meditate again. You have to practice what you preach. So if I'm telling everyone, hey, get into a positive mindset, hey, eat healthy, I have to be doing the same thing. It starts with us. So I definitely use this time to start meditating again, to get right with myself again. So and I think it's definitely important, especially what's going on. I mean, if you talk to my mom all the time, she's just going crazy, and I'm like, Mom, you have to relax, you have to breathe, just chill out, you know. And it's a different time right now.
Yeah. Is your mom somewhere near you?
Yeah, she lives in Wyoming, but she just beat breast cancer not even a year ago. So I understand her. I understand where she's coming from, but stress can kill you too. So
For sure. Liz, so you actually, this is your maternity leave time.
Yeah. So it was my plan to kind of use this time to focus on my swaddle business, because now I have a break from my W-2 job where I do the knit office furniture thing. But since I haven't really been able to do that the past 4 weeks or so, or 6 weeks, I've just been spending a lot of time with my now 6-week-old. So, and I think that's really what that should have been my plan all along. So I'm still, shipping out orders. That's the only time I leave the house, is to just drive by the USPS box and ship my product. But the rest of the time I'm with my baby. My baby's in another room with grandma right now, sleeping. And then, I'll go back to just feeding him and really enjoying this time.
Yep. Jovan, what about you?
Well, of course, I just got engaged like a month ago, so my fiance wants to plan right now. So she's taking the perfect opportunity to wedding plan and do all of these things, because all of my attention right now. So it's been wedding planning and catching up on video games, which I don't get to do too often anymore. So those two things to kind of relax, and taking my dog for a walk. Like, you see some amazing houses and homes in like the Grand Rapids area, because we live on like the northeast side, which I didn't grow up on. So you kind of see like some amazing architecture around, just walking around Grand Rapids, which I don't really walk in neighborhoods on a daily basis, because I'm locked in the studio or in meetings and stuff like that. So just to get out and walk and do all of those things at wedding plan is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, do you think, because I definitely think that I think people are going to approach work and life in a different way now. I hope so. I am. And so I think, that, I don't know. I just think having some time to step back and be forced to kind of think about the big picture was not such a bad thing. And, but this isn't the way you wanted it to happen.
Right.
Because there will be a lot of people who, I mean, I think, hopefully most of us will come out of this having done some thoughtful things, having worked on our business, having taken, some time to ourselves. But there are a lot of people that are not going to come out of this okay. There's a lot of businesses that won't recover. And that's a really unfortunate thing. It's one thing if you start a business, and we all know that in entrepreneurship, entrepreneurs fail. And sometimes that's a badge of courage. I started a business, it failed. I picked myself up, I did another one. But when you fail because of nothing that you did, I think that's just a really, that's hard. Because some people won't have the resources to pick themselves back up. And it was, it's that is really hard to kind of grasp. But
I just wanted to throw in, because we were talking about meditation and some of the mindset stuff. One of our other entrepreneurs last night at Whiskey and Wine, Ryan Vaughn, if you're not familiar with him, with VNN, has started a meditation group specifically for entrepreneurs, and he's doing daily check-ins and things like that. So that's open to anybody who's watching as well that may be an entrepreneur. I can throw my email in the chat and direct you to him. He's going to open that up for anybody and is just really focused on, like you said, mindset and meditation and just health and wellness during this time for entrepreneurs specifically.
Yeah, that's great.
Please.
Awesome. 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 Well, I don't know if we don't have any more questions and people, you know, we can get back to our daily lives, which, you know, are kind of looking the same day into day. I don't even know what day today is. So.
I have a question for Jovan.
Go for it.
PlayStation or Xbox?
Xbox.
Oh my goodness. All right, we're done here. All right, everyone. Have a good day.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the end of that. So, well, listen, you guys, I really want to thank you for spending time this morning. That was great. And, you know, we're going to do this every week. And we want to cover topics that are interesting to people, but I do think that everybody's individual stories are really important. And I think that just having the opportunity to, engage with you guys and hear what you're doing is valuable, you know, and so hopefully someday soon we can see each other in person. But for right now, this was really great. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.